Welcome back to the channel, fellow numismatists. Today we're turning our attention to three modern US pennies that might be hiding in plain sight within your collection, or even that old coffee can full of spare change in the garage. These aren't ancient relics or coins from obscure mints, but rather relatively recent Lincoln cents that have quietly achieved significant status in the collecting world, commanding impressive prices at major auctions and capturing the fascination of seasoned enthusiasts. We're diving deep into the 1995, 1988, and 1968 pennies that have made serious waves, starting with that remarkable 1995 cent that fundamentally changed how many of us look at everyday pocket change. The 1995 Lincoln cent holds a uniquely compelling place in modern numismatics, primarily due to the discovery of a significant double-die obverse variety that sent genuine shockwaves through the collecting community when it emerged. This coin entered circulation during an era when the Philadelphia Mint was churning out billions of pennies annually to meet commerce demands, making the identification of a major, visually striking error all the more thrilling for collectors constantly sifting through the deluge. The double die error itself occurred during the die creation process, specifically when the working die received multiple impressions from the design hub from slightly misaligned positions. This misalignment resulted in a distinct, noticeable doubling effect on the design elements transferred to the coin. What makes the 1995 double-die penny particularly fascinating isn't just the error itself, but its dramatic visibility compared to normal strikes and the sheer fact that it managed to slip undetected through the mint's quality control protocols designed specifically to catch such anomalies. Its discovery serves as a powerful reminder that significant finds can still emerge from the most common denominations, even in relatively recent years. Identifying the 1995 double-die penny requires a practiced eye, but once you know the specific markers, it becomes a relatively straightforward process, especially with the aid of even modest magnification. The most pronounced and sought-after doubling manifests clearly on the obverse, specifically within the inscriptions, "In God We Trust," and "Liberty." On "In God We Trust," you'll observe a distinct separation between the original letter impressions and the secondary, doubled images, creating a noticeable shadow effect. This separation is particularly evident on the letters T and R in "Trust," where the doubling is often dramatic enough to be seen with the naked eye on well-struck examples. Similarly, the doubling on "Liberty" is equally prominent, especially visible on the letters B, E, and R, where the secondary impressions create a thickened, almost blurred appearance under close inspection. Perhaps the most visually striking doubling appears on Lincoln's portrait itself, specifically around his eye and ear. This creates a distinct, almost ghost-like doubling effect on these critical facial features, making the variety unmistakable once identified. The date, 1995, also exhibits doubling, though it tends to be less pronounced than the inscriptions or portrait details. Numismatic authorities have formally designated this variety as FS 901 in the widely referenced Cherry Picker's Guide, and major grading services like PCGS assign it the specific attribution number 1 FS 901, providing clear, standardized identification for serious collectors and ensuring its place in the numismatic record. The market trajectory of the 1995 double-die penny offers a fascinating case study in modern-era coin collecting. When collector Billy Crawford first identified the variety in 1995, it was indeed possible to find examples in everyday circulation, allowing fortunate early birds to secure these coins for their face value of 1 cent. As news of the discovery gradually percolated through numismatic publications, coin shows, and burgeoning online forums, prices began a steady ascent, reflecting growing collector demand. Today, even circulated examples command substantial premiums, with well-worn specimens, fine to extremely fine grades, typically selling in the $25 to $75 range, heavily dependent on the clarity of the doubling and overall eye appeal. However, the true value potential resides in mint-state examples. A 1995 double-die penny grading MS-63 might realistically fetch between $200 and $300 at auction or through major dealers. The value escalates significantly for gem-quality examples. Coins graded MS-65 or better regularly command prices in the $1,000 to $2,000 range. The current auction record for this variety stands at an impressive $14,950, achieved by a nearly flawless PCGS-graded MS67 specimen, underscoring the intense demand for top-tier examples among advanced collectors and registry set participants. What's particularly noteworthy about this variety's market performance is its remarkable stability. Unlike many error coins whose values plummet as more examples surface, the 1995 double die has maintained robust collector interest and solid value retention over nearly 3 decades, a testament to its visual impact and established place in the Lincoln Cent series. One of the most captivating aspects of the 1995 double die penny lies in the story of its discovery and the subsequent reaction within the numismatic community. The variety was first brought to light by Billy Crawford, a dedicated collector who noticed something distinctly unusual about a 1995 penny he received in routine change. Rather than keeping his potentially valuable find secret, Crawford demonstrated the spirit of true numismatic fellowship by sharing his discovery openly with the broader collecting community. This transparency allowed other enthusiasts to actively search for and identify additional examples, rapidly establishing the variety's legitimacy and sparking a genuine rush as collectors nationwide began meticulously examining their 1995 cents. Interestingly, while many significant double dies are identified relatively quickly after a coin's release year, the 1995 variety wasn't widely publicized until around 1997. This 2-year window created a unique opportunity for attentive collectors who were actively searching or simply lucky enough to encounter one in circulation before prices escalated dramatically. The story of its discovery perfectly encapsulates the best traditions of the coin collecting hobby: shared knowledge, collective excitement, and the thrill of the hunt, rather than secrecy and individual hoarding. It transformed an ordinary year in Lincoln Cent production into a landmark event for modern numismatics. Condition plays an absolutely pivotal role in determining the value of the 1995 double die penny, arguably more so than with many other modern era coins. Given that these coins entered general circulation, the vast majority exhibit varying degrees of wear, making truly uncirculated specimens particularly scarce and desirable. In circulated grades, roughly $50 and below, values typically range from about $20 for heavily worn examples with only faint doubling visible, up to $100 for almost uncirculated coins showing minimal friction on the highest points like Lincoln's cheekbone and hair above the ear. The value curve steepens considerably once you enter the mint state category. What makes this variety particularly accessible yet valuable is the pronounced nature of the doubling. Even heavily circulated examples that retain clear, visible doubling maintain substantial collector interest and value, unlike many subtle errors where wear can completely obscure the variety, rendering them effectively worthless as errors. This characteristic makes the 1995 double die penny an attractive target for collectors at various budget levels, while still offering tremendous potential upside for those fortunate enough to locate high-grade, well-preserved specimens. Now shifting gears to our second featured coin, the 1988 Lincoln Cent double die obverse variety. While perhaps not as visually dramatic as its 1995 counterpart, this penny has quietly established itself as a significant modern rarity with a compelling story of delayed recognition. Its discovery highlights how even thoroughly examined coin series can still yield surprises decades after production. The 1988 double die penny emerged from the Philadelphia Mint during a period of massive penny production, much like the 1995. The error mechanism was identical, multiple hub impressions from slightly misaligned positions creating a doubled image on the die. However, the doubling on the 1988 variety is notably more subtle than the 1995. This subtlety is precisely why it remained undiscovered for so long, escaping notice even as collectors meticulously searched Lincoln Cents for varieties. It wasn't until the early 2000s, over a decade after the coins were minted, that sharp-eyed collectors began identifying consistent doubling characteristics on certain 1988 cents. The variety gained formal recognition around 2003 to 2004, proving that significant finds can still surface long after a coin's release year. Identifying the 1988 double die requires careful examination under magnification. The most reliable indicators appear on the obverse. Look closely at the word Liberty. You'll find distinct, though less pronounced, doubling on the letters B, E, and R. This doubling appears as a slight separation or thickening of the letters, creating a subtle shadow effect. The date, 1988, also exhibits clear doubling, particularly noticeable on the digits 9 and 8. Unlike the dramatic doubling on Lincoln's portrait seen in the 1995 variety, the 1988 shows minimal doubling on the portrait itself, with perhaps just a slight hint of extra thickness on the ear or eyelid. This variety is officially designated FS 801 in the Cherry Picker's Guide and carries attribution numbers from major grading services. Its subtlety makes it a true cherry picker's coin, rewarding those who take the time to look closely. The market value of the 1988 double die penny reflects its later discovery and more subtle doubling, but it remains highly sought after by serious Lincoln cent specialists. Initially, examples could be found in circulation for face value, but as awareness grew, prices rose steadily. Today, circulated examples in fine to extremely fine condition typically sell for $15 to $50, depending on the clarity of the doubling and overall eye appeal. Mint state examples show a significant value jump. An MS-60 specimen might bring $100 to $150, while an MS-63 example could command $200 to $350. Gem examples in MS-65 or better are considerably scarcer and more valuable, often selling for $500 to $1,000. The current auction record stands at approximately $5,000 for a top-grade MS-66 example. While its values are lower than the 1995 double die, the 1988 variety has demonstrated strong collector interest and value stability, particularly for well-preserved examples. One fascinating aspect of the 1988 double die is its sleeper hit status within the numismatic community. For years, collectors examined 1988 cents without recognizing the variety, assuming any minor doubling was typical strike doubling or machine doubling, not a true double die. Its eventual identification sparked renewed interest in searching modern cents for subtle varieties. The delayed discovery also means that many examples were likely overlooked and spent, potentially making high-grade survivors rarer than initially assumed. This variety serves as a powerful reminder that numismatic knowledge evolves, and today's common coin might become tomorrow's rarity with closer examination and new discoveries. Condition significantly impacts the value of the 1988 double die, perhaps even more so than the 1995 due to its subtler doubling. In circulated grades, VF 20 to 58 Australian dollars, values range from $15 for worn examples where doubling is faint, up to $75 for AU coins with minimal wear and clear doubling visible under magnification. The value increases substantially in mint state. An MS-60 example might fetch $100 to $150, while an MS-63 could bring $200 to $350. Gem examples, MS-65 and above, are genuinely scarce and command premiums, typically selling for $500 to $1,000. The finest known examples, graded MS-66, are exceptionally rare and have approached or exceeded $5,000 at auction. Because the doubling is less pronounced than the 1995 variety, wear can easily obscure it, making well-struck, uncirculated examples particularly desirable. This condition sensitivity means that even a small upgrade in grade can result in a significant value increase, making careful preservation and professional grading especially important for this variety. Now we turn our attention to the final coin in today's lineup, the 1968 Lincoln cent double die obverse variety. This particular penny represents a fascinating bridge between the classic-era coins of the mid-20th century and the modern rarities we've already discussed. Its discovery timeline and characteristics offer a unique window into the evolution of era coin collecting, making it a cornerstone variety for serious Lincoln cent enthusiasts. While it lacks the immediate visual punch of the 1995 double die, its historical significance and scarcity have cemented its place as a key modern rarity. The 1968 double die penny emerged during a pivotal year in American coinage production. The Philadelphia Mint was transitioning away from traditional coinage methods while simultaneously meeting the massive demand for cents during the Vietnam War era. The double die error occurred through the same fundamental process as the others, multiple hub impressions from slightly misaligned positions creating a doubled image on the working die. However, the doubling characteristics on the 1968 variety are distinct from both the 1988 and 1995 examples. What makes the 1968 particularly compelling is its status as one of the earliest recognized significant double dies in the Lincoln Memorial Cent series, which began in 1959. Unlike the others, the 1968 variety was identified relatively early in the error coin collecting boom of the 1970s and 1980s, though it never achieved the mainstream notoriety of some other errors. Its discovery coincided with a growing interest in mint errors and varieties among collectors, helping to establish the foundation for modern error coin hunting as we know it today. Identifying the 1968 double die requires careful attention to specific markers, as the doubling is present but less dramatic than the 1995 variety. The most reliable indicators appear on the obverse design elements. You'll want to pay close attention to the word Liberty. The doubling is most pronounced on the letters B, E, and R, appearing as a distinct separation or thickening, similar to the 1988 variety but often slightly more evident. The date, 1968, also shows clear doubling, particularly noticeable on the digits 9 and 8. Where the 1968 variety really distinguishes itself is in the doubling visible on Lincoln's portrait. While not as dramatic as the 1995, there is noticeable extra thickness or a slight shadow effect on Lincoln's ear and eyelid, more pronounced than what's typically seen on the 1988. Additionally, the motto, "In God We Trust," exhibits subtle but consistent doubling, especially on the letters T and R in trust. This variety is officially designated as FS 401 in the Cherry Picker's Guide and carries specific attribution numbers from PCGS and NGC. Its identification requires a good magnifying glass, 5x, 10x, and familiarity with what constitutes true double die doubling versus the more common machine doubling, which lacks the distinct separation and rounded edges characteristic of a true double die. The market value of the 1968 double die penny reflects its earlier discovery date, greater scarcity in high grades, and its established status as a key variety. When first identified in the early 1970s, examples could occasionally still be found in circulation, allowing diligent collectors to acquire them for face value. As the error coin market matured throughout the 1980s and 1990s, prices rose steadily as the variety gained recognition among Lincoln cent specialists. Today, circulated examples in fine to extremely fine condition typically sell for $30 to $100, heavily dependent on the clarity of the doubling and overall eye appeal. Mint state examples show a significant value jump due to their relative scarcity. An MS-60 specimen might bring $150 to $250, while an MS-63 example could command $300 to $500. Gem examples in MS-65 or better are genuinely rare and highly sought after, often selling for $800 to $1,500. The current auction record stands at an impressive $6,975 for a top-grade MS-66 Plus example graded by PCGS, demonstrating the premium placed on exceptional condition. While its values are generally higher than the 1988 double die but typically lower than the 1995 in comparable grades, the 1968 variety has demonstrated remarkable long-term value stability and consistent demand among advanced collectors who appreciate its historical significance within the Lincoln cent series. One of the most intriguing aspects of the 1968 double die penny is its place in the timeline of error coin collecting. Its discovery occurred during a period when the hobby was beginning to systematically categorize and attribute mint errors and varieties, moving beyond simply collecting by date and mint mark. The 1968 double die became one of the benchmark varieties that helped define what constituted a significant, collectible double die in the modern era. Unlike the 1995 and 1988 varieties, which were identified during the Internet age with rapid information dissemination, the 1968's recognition spread more slowly through traditional channels like coin clubs, publications, and coin shows. This slower burn allowed it to establish a solid reputation based on its intrinsic merits rather than hype. Furthermore, the 1968 double die serves as a crucial reminder that significant errors occurred even during periods of massive, high-volume production at the mint. Its existence challenges the notion that only older coins or those from low mintage years can harbor valuable varieties, reinforcing the core message that careful examination of even common, modern coinage can yield remarkable discoveries. Condition plays an absolutely critical role in determining the value of the 1968 double die penny, arguably more so than for the 1988 or 1995 varieties due to its subtler doubling characteristics and earlier minting date. Given that these coins have been in circulation for over 5 decades, the vast majority exhibit significant wear, making truly uncirculated specimens particularly scarce and valuable. In circulated grades, roughly VF20 to 58 Australian dollars, values range from about $30 for worn examples where doubling is faint but identifiable under magnification, up to $100 for almost uncirculated coins showing minimal friction and clear doubling visible with modest magnification. The value curve steepens dramatically once you enter the mint state category. An MS-60 example, showing full mint luster but perhaps numerous minor contact marks or bag marks typical of the era, might bring $150 to $250. An MS-63 coin, with fewer marks and better eye appeal, could command $300 to $500. The most substantial premium occurs at the gem level, MS-65 and above. Coins achieving this grade, with exceptional strike, luster, and minimal distractions, are genuinely scarce and regularly sell for $800 to $1,500. The finest known examples, graded MS-66 or MS-66 Plus by PCGS or NGC, are exceptionally rare, perhaps only a handful exist, and have realized prices approaching or exceeding $7,000 when they appear at major auctions. As we conclude our exploration of these three remarkable modern Lincoln cents, the 1995, 1988, and 1968 double die obverse varieties, we're reminded of the enduring thrill of numismatic discovery hiding within everyday coinage. Each of these pennies tells a unique story about the mint's production processes, the evolution of error coin collecting, and the incredible value that can reside in the most common denominations. They represent tangible proof that significant rarities aren't confined to ancient coins or obscure mintages, but can emerge from the billions of cents produced in our lifetimes. For those of you with collections or jars of old coins, these varieties underscore the importance of careful examination. You never know when a seemingly ordinary penny might hold extraordinary value. Whether you're a seasoned specialist or just rediscovering an old collection, these double dies demonstrate that the hunt for numismatic treasures is far from over. Keep looking closely, keep learning, and keep appreciating the fascinating history and potential value waiting to be discovered in your pocket change.